Well, a very, very happy Wednesday morning to everyone, and welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Glad you could join us, and we got a lot to cover today. We're going to get into the Padres here in about 20 minutes or so, but we've got a special guest who we're going to tell you all about. I want to remind everyone, please subscribe to the channel. We're doing great with subscriptions. Please like and please send your comments in. We'll get to Coach's Crew. We'll also get to Coach's Mailbag today. We'll break down the first couple of games between the Padres and Seattle. Padres remain one game back of the Los Angeles Dodgers, who won again last night against Cincinnati 6-3. Padres playing the rubber game this afternoon at 1:10 at T-Mobile Park up in Seattle. But we got a lot to cover. And I got to tell you, I've been talking about this for weeks on the show. I've been really excited about the second year under head coach Sean Lewis for the San Diego State Aztecs, and they make their debut tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at Snapdragon Stadium. And a gentleman that came in earlier this year, after last college football season, to become the very, very first general manager of the San Diego State Aztec football program. He's got incredible credentials. And he's a very young man doing a fantastic job out at Montezuma Mesa. We bring on the general manager of San Diego State football's program. Caleb Davis joins us on the John Kentera Show. And good morning, Caleb. Great to have you, and thanks so much for taking the time.
Good morning, Coach. I appreciate you for having me on, man. This is a huge honor, so thank you.
Well, I'd have to ask you right from the get-go, what's it been like for you moving from South Bend, Indiana, where you were the recruiting coordinator for Notre Dame last year, and now the general manager of the San Diego State Aztecs? Got to be a big change in your life.
Yeah, well, the weather's a nice addition. So it's crazy because I've never lived out in the West Coast at all before. So Midwest, born and raised from Cincinnati, then last 4 years at Notre Dame. So being out here has been a really, really cool change, but it's also really nice because I kind of have a different perspective when I talk to these recruits and everything about how nice it really is being out in San Diego and not back out in the Midwest.
We're definitely going to get into talking about how you recruit San Diego State football players going into the Pac-12 next year. But I want to kind of track back. You went to the University of Cincinnati. You started out as an unpaid assistant, and kind of take it from there. Give us your roadmap to San Diego, because it's a really interesting story in the development of you as an administrator, but also your relationship with Coach Freeman at Notre Dame.
So I was blessed in my career to kind of be in the right place at the exact time at the right program, because my first season at Cincinnati, I was a student there all 4 years, getting paid maybe 50 cents an hour by the time I was a senior. But I was around great people who taught me, what success looks like, how to get there, and the roadmap to it. So as a student there, I was doing both coaching and recruiting side at the same time, which was really unique for me because it got to build the perspective of everything within a program and not just the recruiting world. So I got to work with Marcus Freeman, who's the defense coordinator there, got really, really close with him. And then another mentor of mine, Chad Bowden, was defensive QC recruiting coordinator at the same time, ended up getting promoted to full-time director of recruiting. He's now was at Notre Dame and left to go be the GM at USC right up the road. So got to learn the roadmap from a lot of great people, a lot of elite workers and elite minds, and then was there for 4 years, saw the rise there from 2017, where we went 4-8. It was brutal. There were probably 2,000 fans in the stands the last game of the year, and then got to where when I was a senior, we had just lost the Peach Bowl against Georgia before we headed up to Notre Dame altogether, and then was up there 4 years. I spent 6 months in between after the third season where I got hired down by Jared Parker down in Troy, Alabama. But before we even got to the first game right at the summer, I got hired back as the director of recruiting at Notre Dame. That was a little bit of madness. And then I got to experience last season where obviously we were right there, just missed out, but was a special year with some special people.
Caleb, I've watched a lot of interviews. Of course, last year in the college football playoffs, Coach Freeman, a lot of interviews he did. really seems to be an incredible man. And I'm not just talking about a football coach. He's obviously brought that program together. Great family man, from what I understand. How tough was it to go in a second time and say, "Hey, coach, I got this offer out of San Diego State"?
That's the special thing about him because however high the media praises him and however high they build him up, it still isn't even close to doing it justice. Like he is just a phenomenal human being, one of the best I've ever been around. And that was the cool thing is that as I took him this opportunity and I kept him in the loop every step of the way, like he was honest with me. And it really boiled down to three things that he asked me before I took the job because he's never going to make the decision for me, but he was always like, okay, first off, go get the job first and then come back and let's talk about it. So went through the interview process, obviously got the job offer and everything, came back and it boiled down to three things. Like, do you align with the vision of the head coach and who he is morally and the way I respect and the joy I have working for Sean Lewis? Like, yes, that was a no-brainer. Number two was, am I ready for the job? Like, do you think I'm ready for that next step? I was like, of course. I think I'd be the GM at Notre Dame. Like I have the utmost confidence in myself. And it's like, good. I already knew that answer. And then the third was, is it a place that you think you're going to win and have success at? And as I went through my interview process, got to evaluate the roster, got to actually spend a day here and see how the guys interact with the coaches and different things. That was a no-brainer for me as well. So when those three things were yeses, I mean, it ended up kind of being a no-brainer where he understood and was like, dude, if I could hire San Diego State's GM as my director of recruiting, I look like a genius. So it's a good move professionally. Like, just is it what you want personally? And everything ended up lining up to be just the perfect fit.
Caleb, I think a football recruiting coordinator, and obviously that's just part of your job. I mean, it's a huge part of your job, but you got so many other things. And the way college football is evolving right now, you really need to be an octopus with a lot of arms and legs. There's no question about that. Kind of take us through your responsibilities, and then we'll talk a little bit about the game tomorrow night against Stony Brook. And I want people to understand, and you and I have talked, we talked a week ago at KUSI. I want people to understand this Stony Brook game tomorrow night is not a layup game. This is a good football program. Billy Cox has come in, took an 0-10 program. They went 8-4 last year. They got a lot of guys coming back. So this isn't a he opener that should be a 50-3 blowout. This is going to be a tough, hard-nosed football game right out of the gate. But talk a little bit about your responsibilities.
Okay, so the first thing off with my job is obviously everyone knows, okay, now with rev share, NIL, there's a money guy. There's someone who looks at budgets and how you pay these players and how you kind of get to those valuations. So that's a big part of it. The one thing I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, our high school recruiting staff they were already in place and they're freaking elite. So the work that Sean Dillon, our director of player personnel, does, along with our recruiting coordinators, Tana Vea, Kyle Spalding, and our director of on-campus recruiting, Taylor Johnson, like they do a tremendous job. So as the GM, they know I'm always gonna put my hand out, help wherever I have to, but I'm not gonna micromanage them and what they do and change what's already been working under Sean Dillon, Sean Lewis, and the Aztecs over the last year and a half or so. So that was really, really cool for me to not have to go and blow things up, hire a bunch of people and change things. But then from there, we talk about the money thing, and it's okay, how do you evaluate these players? How do you assign a dollar amount and go into negotiations, different things, work with agents? And yes, that's a big part when the portal comes up, but it's not like those talks are happening every single day. Those are maybe 2 weeks here, 2 weeks at the end of the season. And then the rest of the season is how can you implement the vision of a head coach to really, really sustain long-term success? So like in the past, last year, Sean Lewis, he's even talked about how, last game of the season, he had to divvy up like, okay, do I sit down and game plan for an extra hour, or do I make sure we retain guys like Trey White, Chris Johnson? And to be able to take that stuff off of his plate and really let me dive into it, that's where the day in the life of a GM is making sure the head coach vision gets set from every single little piece within a program. And it's not just, the football program, but how can I connect with people across campus, with academics, with the strength staff, to make sure I'm getting them the best balls of clay that they can mold and develop, along with connecting with our alumni and our donors and different people within the program that really are the reason why we can take San Diego State from being here all the way up here when it's all said and done.
Caleb, do you like the early signing period in December, or would you rather just have one signing period in February?
Definitely early, because the earlier we can get kids onto campus is great. But there's even talks about that. I mean, I'm not even so sure it doesn't turn into an opened up signing period, the start of when you can send your official offer letter. Like, I think there's still a million ways the NCAA could take that. But for me, I'm kind of like, give me what the guardrails are, and I'll find the best plan for it.
Okay, give me the recruiting pitch. Okay, I'm an Orange County, say, offensive tackle. I'm pretty good. I'm like all Southern section.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you or your recruiting coordinator or one of the assistant coaches comes into my home with my mom and dad, what's the pitch to come to San Diego State now that they're going into the new Pac-12?
All right, I'd say first off, there's a lot of groundwork to figure out what they do value, because not every kid values the same thing. But as I'm just pitching off of what makes San Diego State special, it's that we're a program with unlimited potential. And there's not many programs in the country that can say that, because when you look at everything that maybe has held San Diego State back a little bit, whether it's conference affiliation, whether it's facilities, this or that, like everything's kind of been answered there. So you look at what San Diego State is and what we can be. We have an elite local talent base. And when I say this location too, it's not just the fact that we have great weather, we're 15 minutes from the beaches, but we've got the best football in America played in Southern California. So we can build a program based off of that. But then you look inward into San Diego State. We have one of the greatest stadiums in college football. And I've been to a lot of them. And Snapdragon Stadium is one of the way it's been built, the way it's been manufactured for fan support. I mean, it is a beautiful stadium. And these kids feel it too when they come here. So you combine that with an elite stadium, elite people, and it starts with the coaching staff, and it starts up top with Sean Lewis. Like, I tell every single kid, like, you have to align with the head coach, because position coaches, people like me, we can all come and go. But if a head coach is someone you align with, every single person he hires underneath him is going to be someone you align with. And that's kind of cool on my part, where I can sell Sean Lewis because he's a phenomenal leader and a phenomenal human being. So you combine all those things along with a program that has elite history and tradition. People don't realize we have 176 draft picks of all time, the most of anyone entering in the new Pac-12. And when you combine all this stuff together, combined with now we're going into Pac-12, and one of the biggest guardrails that's kind of maybe has held us back in recent years is out of there. I mean, the moment San Diego State makes the playoffs, just look out, because who would rather play football anywhere else than San Diego in a program like this?
All right. I've been telling people for weeks now, and I did my due diligence of looking into the background of the Stony Brook football program. 2 years ago, they were arguably one of the worst teams that took the gridiron. They were 0-10. They made a coaching change. They brought in a new head coach, 31 years of age. Last year, 8-4. They got a running back that ran for over 1,300 yards. They got 3 offensive linemen back. One of them is a preseason All-American at their level. This game tomorrow night, I think a lot of fans, when they looked at, Stony Brook, I mean, we heard about them in basketball. They play football. Well, yeah, they do play football, and they played it pretty well last year, and they got a lot of guys coming back.
Mm-hmm. They are a tough, good football team, well coached. We respect the heck out of them. And I think it comes down to us looking inward and making sure all the guys take it as serious. And that's the good thing. I know we talked about it before we went on air, but I mean, just last night we had probably 10 of our D linemen and edge rushers just sitting in the room breaking it down, because they know the importance of it. And there were no coaches in there. That's just kids on their own time wanting to come in and ensure that we start the season the right way. So you're absolutely right. They've got a lot of talent. I respect them a ton, and they've got a lot of returning talent. You talk about the running back. He's a preseason FCS All-American. They got a few receivers that can go up and get it, 3 offensive linemen coming back. And I think it's for us to look inward, respect the opponent, come out fast, because the moment you give them life is the moment things start to liven up for them and become real for them. So if we can start out fast, kind of step our foot on their throats a little bit and get going, then we know we can handle business. But again, it's not one to just overlook.
Okay, I know you're working morning, noon, and night. Okay, I know the way that job works, and there's no downtime. But once that ball's kicked off tomorrow night, do you get to be kind of a spectator, at least for the game, and then get back into your mode? You have recruits coming out tomorrow night. What's the game night for you?
See, I would like for that to be the case, and I'm sure it could be, but I just don't operate like that. And I think it stems from back when I was at Cincinnati. Like, my job on the sidelines, I had a headset. I was charting all the play calls right up next to Coach Freeman and trying to just do every single little thing I could do to help the team. So that's just how I operate. So once we go down on the sidelines, I don't care if it's with equipment or who, I'm going to be asking around, how can I help? How can I do this? How can I do that? Because I just don't enjoy being a spectator. I think I get too much anxiety standing on the sidelines, not doing anything. But then the lead up to the day is, I'll probably spend some time in the boxes, meet with some of the donors and hang out with them a little bit. And then, yeah, once the ball gets kicked, just find value. That's my whole mantra.
All righty. Well, Caleb, I know it's a very busy time. I really appreciate this. We'll do this again down the road, and continued success, and go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs. Appreciate you, Coach.
You're welcome. Caleb Davis, a young man that really is going places in college football, and this is a good get. I met Caleb about a week ago at KUSI. I had read a lot about him. And again, he's got a tremendous relationship with Coach Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. He was a recruiting coordinator for the Domers, and then gets this job as the first general manager for San Diego State. I thought you Aztec fans might really enjoy that. Okay, we're going to get into our Padres, but before we do that, I want to share something with you. Last Friday night, Padres Dodgers were playing, and I had the game on my phone, but I went to a high school football game. Torrey Pines playing La Jolla, and stood on the sidelines, and I got this text. And at first I thought it was kind of a joke, and we're going to put this plaque up here. Last week, the Indoor Football League, the IFL, had league meetings down in Tucson, Arizona prior to their championship game last weekend, and San Diego Strike Force, the broadcast team that I work with, Steve Quiz, play-by-play, yours truly, color analyst, Bo Fertig, sideline reporter, and America's finest entertainment. They were a part of winning this award, and it was absolutely fantastic. Very excited about that. Was quite honestly America's finest city, I should say. Great people, and we won the award for the best broadcast. So thank you to the IFL. Thank you. We beat out 15 other broadcast crews, so that was very cool. So I thought I'd share that with you. Hard work does pay off every once in a while. Okay, we got to get to the Padres. Monday night, not a good night. They get beat 9-6. They had an early 4-1 lead, couldn't hold it. They hit 4 homers, still couldn't hold it. Cal Raleigh blasted his 50th homer. Jorge Polanco, a line drive, 2-run homer, his 20th of the year. And J.P. Sears was not great. He got optioned back down to the minor leagues. That doesn't mean he's not coming back. Can't come back for 10 days unless somebody goes on the IL. But J.P. Sears, 3 2/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, a walk, 2 strikeouts, 2 homers. ERA came to San Diego with a 4.95 ERA, elevated now to 5.01. David Morgan, a rough night. And you know what? Guys are going to have rough nights. When you go to the bullpen as often as the Padres do, guys are going to have rough nights. And we saw it again last night. Jason Adam had a rough night last night. And when you're going to, 3 or 4 or 5 relievers a night, not everybody's going to be on. And J.P. Sears certainly was not on. Neither was the starter for Seattle, Bryce Miller. He wasn't very good. He ended up going 5 innings and gave up 4 earned runs and gave up 3 homers in the ball game. I mean, balls were flying out of that ballpark. I thought everybody told me that's a hard place to score runs, man. I'm seeing a lot of runs being scored, and I'm seeing a lot of home runs being hit. But going back to Monday night, David Morgan, who'd been so good, really roughed up though. I mean, he ended up going 1 inning, 2 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, a hit batter through 33 pitches. Got out of the 1 inning and then couldn't get out of the next inning. So his ERA climbed from under 2 up to 2.87 very, very quickly. Offensively that night, Padres had 10 hits. Luis Ariz, everybody's bitching about Luis Ariz. I get it to a degree. He's not a high on base guy. He swings at balls out of the zone, but he's been your hitter in the number 2 spot most of the year. I mean, there's been times where he dropped down. He's hit third. He's hit fourth. Shouldn't be in the fourth hole. Probably should be, maybe if you moved him down, maybe in the 6th hole. The 5th hole's for a good RBI guy. But everybody yelling and screaming about Luis Ariz. Well, I got news for you. There's other guys right now not getting the job done in the month of August. Manny hadn't been very good in the month of August. Fernando's got a good on-base percentage, but he hit his first home run in over a month the other night. So, I mean, some of these numbers are not good for the Padres in the month of August, yet they're still only 1 game back of the Dodgers. But they get beat on Monday night, and then they come back last night. They jump out to a 5-0 lead. Ramon Laureano bangs a grand slam. He's been unbelievable. And then they blow the lead. I mean, Dylan Cease still does not have a road win. He came in last night with an 0-8 record on the road and a 5.65 ERA. Some guy, I tweeted that yesterday just to let people know this is a big game, man. Dylan Cease got to go out and have a hell of a game. And I wrote, so far this year, he's 0-8 with a 5.65. He goes, well, this guy's talking about record. You know what? Record does matter. At the end of the day, how many wins do you have in the left column? How many do you have in the right column? And Dylan Cease has not had a good year. He's got 6 wins. He's 0-8 on the road. And ERA after last night's going to climb. I mean, Cease last night and Jason Adam both gave up 3-run homers in the 5th inning. Padres were up 5-0. They were down 6-5. They're able to come back and win the ball game. Jake Cronenworth, who, by the way, has come alive, hitting in that key number 8 spot and sometimes 7 spot, but mostly the 8 spot. He's come alive. Had an RBI single to tie the game, and then you knew it was coming. He'd been doing it all year long, and that's Mike Shildt wanting to go ahead and have Freddie Fermin have a safety squeeze, and it worked to perfection. Laureano slides home. Padres end up hanging on to a 7-6 victory. And I got to tell you, the bullpen last night, aside from Jason Adam, who did not look good, 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 2 runs, a homer to Eugenio Suarez. And really, I don't think Jason has been very consistent since the All-Star break. This guy has been utilized a ton this year. And I think it's starting to show a little wear and tear. But then you got to Adrian Morejon. Oh, my God. He was blowing guys down right and left. He pitched the 6th inning and struck out everybody. And then you went to Mason Miller, who was a little dicey, but was able to get out of it. He ended up going 1 inning, 1 hit, a walk, and a couple of punch-outs, but put himself in dire strait. And it was a nice bounce back for Jeremiah Estrada last night after what happened to him on Sunday against the Dodgers. And we can get into that, but here's the deal, real quick. If Mike Shildt would have gone to Adrian Morejon to face Dalton Rushing, Dave Roberts would have countered with Will Smith, who's been one of the better hitters in baseball this year, who's in a real slump, and he was in a slump most of the year against the Padres. But you know what? I like the matchup. Estrada against a light-hitting young catcher, just hitting a little over 200, then Morejon going against a guy that's been there, done that, in Will Smith. Well, it didn't work out. Dalton Rushing took Estrada over the boards. You could say, well, Estrada's not pitched well against the Dodgers this year. We could bring in David Morgan or we could bring in somebody else. Well, Estrada's been a good pitcher all year long. Yeah, he hadn't had a good month. And he didn't have a good year against the Dodgers. But Mike Shildt went that way rather than maybe having to face Will Smith with Adrian Morejon. I'm okay with that. That's going to happen. But everybody was like going crazy the other day. I mean, I'd much rather have Estrada going against a catcher that plays every 3 or 4 days rather than a guy that was a starting catcher for the All-Star team and up until last week was a leading hitter in the entire National League. I mean, you got to think, people. You got to think. And, getting back to last night, Estrada 1 inning to hit a strikeout, and then Robert Suarez, it wasn't pretty. There were 2 of the 3 balls were hit pretty good last night. But he got Rosarena, and he got Cal Raleigh, and then he got Julio Rodriguez to line out to right field to end the ball game, and that ball was scorched. So a good win. Offensively last night, Fernando had his 26th double. Manny came alive. Manny hadn't played well. He really hadn't. He made his 15th error the other night. 2 for 5, but struck out a couple of more times. You know that Manny struck out 22 times already in the month of August? I mean, Manny's hitting like in the 230s in the month of August. So are a lot of other guys, by the way. Ryan O'Hearn, how good has he been? 2 for 4 a walk, his 18th double. Bogarts drove in a run. Gavin Sheets 1 for 3 a walk. Couple of runs scored last night. Laureano 2 for 4 the grand slam. He added a double. Cronenworth 2 for 4, and Freddie Fermin 1 for 2 with that safety squeeze. So all in all, a really good night for the Padres, and they needed that. Dodgers are kicking it into high gear. Kershaw didn't have squat last night, but he found a way to go 5 innings, give up 2 hits and 1 run, and really he didn't have good stuff. But the Dodgers have beaten Cincinnati twice. They've got Cincinnati again tonight at Dodger Stadium at 5:40. Going to be an interesting matchup. Ohtani, who did not pitch well last time out against Colorado at Coors Field, going against a really good young left-hander in Lodolo. I mean, Lodolo's a good left-handed pitcher, had a good year, and it'll be an interesting game tonight at 5:40. And the Dodgers are going to know what the Padres did because the Padres play at 110. Real quick, the matchup. You got Darvish going against Bryan Woo. Bryan Woo is really good. He's got an 11-7 record and an ERA right now of 2.94. Darvish 3-3 and a 5.36. I got to tell you, this Seattle lineup. Now, when they get down to their 7th, 8th, and 9th, they're not great. But, man, I'll tell you, their first 6 hitters are dynamite. I mean, that's going through a gauntlet. These dudes can hit. They really can. So today's going to be an interesting game, and the Dodgers will know what the Padres and Mariners done earlier in the day. Okay, we got to get out to live questions, Coach's Crew. And I want to mention one thing. Monday, I was all geared up. I was all ready to do the show, and we don't really know what happened. Okay, we tried to get on the air, and even right now, we're on the air, but we have no idea what happened on Monday. It wasn't any of our doing. But, hey, we're on the air, and we're happy to be on the air, and I want to hear from all you fans. I'm fired up, man. That game last night, if the Padres lose that game last night, it's going to be a different show today. I got to be honest with you. I mean, they got to find a way to get it done. Laureano's playing great. O'Hearn's playing great. Gavin Sheets is playing great. We got to get Manny off his rear end and get him going. He looks lost at the plate right now. He had 2 hits last night, but he doesn't look good. Tatis hit a home run. He doesn't look great at the plate. And, I don't know what's going on with these guys. Bogarts is still hanging in there, doing a pretty good job. Arise at 0 for 5 last night. He's got to get it going. But all the guys that got traded to San Diego, they're getting the job done, along with Gavin Sheets, who's doing a heck of a job. Okay, let's get out to questions. I'm all fired up today, and I would imagine you are as well. Shep, Coach, I know you're an Arise guy, but it's been a rough season having him in the 2-hole. Would you drop him in the lineup? If yes, where would you hit him? I'd probably hit him 6th. I'd probably hit him 6th. I'll be honest with you. I think for me, I'd rather see Bogarts hitting the number 2 spot because he can go to the opposite field a little bit. Or you could put Manny there. Put Tatis and Manny back to back. But they probably want to stick a left-hander in there. I mean, when Jackson Merrill comes back, maybe you stick Jackson Merrill there. I got to be honest with you. Jackson Merrill's not had a good year. And, yeah, we know a lot of it has to do with missing a month for a hamstring, and then he slid head first, got a concussion, and now he's got the ankle and the bone bruise. He's not had a good year. And right now you got guys like Ryan O'Hearn in Gavin Sheets. Gavin Sheets got 18 home runs. He's got a career high, and he's hungry. He's a hungry ball player right now. And you got Laureano. Who are you going to take out of the lineup? I mean, Gavin Sheets is getting the job done. Laureano definitely getting the job done. He's hit 333 in a Padre uniform. He got 6 home runs in the month of August. And Jackson Merrill's going to come back. It's going to take him a while to kind of get up to speed. You don't have time to wait for guys to get up to speed. They got to be in the middle of a pennant race right now. And, I'd send him out on a rehab assignment. Let him get 12 at-bats. Let him get some work in and get back here. You're throwing him into a pressure cooker, and you're throwing him onto a roster now that is producing, really producing. And people say, well, how can you not get Jackson Merrill back in the lineup? Hey, you know what? You got guys right now that are performing at a very, very high level. And you got guys that are driving the ball out of the ballpark. O'Hearn's a good player, good hitter, professional hitter. And Gavin Sheets, Padres gave him an opportunity, and this guy has made the most of it. But to answer your question, if I was going to move Arise, and I'm not sure that Mike Schill will, I think I'd move him to 6th. That's where I would probably move him, is the 6th spot. I don't think he needs to hit any lower than 6th. All right, Shep, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Casey King, and good morning, Coach. With college football season to begin, and how you see my USC Trojans doing this year? That's a good question, Casey. I'll tell you what, I'm going to the SC game at the Coliseum on the 6th. I'm going up there. I'm fired up. I can't wait to see them play. They're playing Georgia Southern. And you know who the head coach of Georgia Southern is? It's their former head coach, Clay Helton. Clay Helton bringing Georgia Southern out. They're going to play at Fresno State this weekend, and they're going to stay out in Southern California and then play SC. I fired up to go to the Coliseum. Me and my son-in-law, we're going to the Coliseum. I would hope that SC's a hell of a lot better. I would hope that they're a hell of a lot better. If not, Lincoln Riley, stick a fork in him. There were a lot of promises made, and nothing's happened up there at SC. I say if they can't get it done this year, you go and talk to Nick Saban and see if he'll come out of retirement for 3 years to get that program up and running. What do you say about that, huh? Go get Nick Saban. SC, man, you got to get rolling up there. I don't know how good they're going to be. I mean, they're in the Big Ten now, which still doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it is. But I'm hoping SC is going to be really good. And I'm hoping UCLA is a lot better as well. But I'm looking forward to college football. I'm going to get up really bright and early on Saturday. Lee Corso's final show. Some people don't like Corso. I read Nick Canepa's column last Sunday. He doesn't like Corso. You know why? Because Corso endorsed Gino Torretta years and years and years ago over Marshall Faulk. And we knew who the better player was. But it was an East Coast, West Coast thing. And Marshall Faulk obviously went on and had a Hall of Fame career. Now he's the running backs coach at the University of Colorado with Neon Dion, Coach Prime. So I'm getting up early on Saturday morning. Lee Corso's final show. So I'm looking forward to that. Once he puts the head on, then I can move on with my day. Casey, thank you very much. Keep these questions coming. I'm all fired up today. Pods are bottom 5 in production from the 2-hole this year. I feel like teams are comfortable to pitch around Tatis because Arise hasn't gotten it done this year. Well, the Padres are praising Tatis for his high on-base percentage, best on-base percentage of his career. Okay? Tatis, let's be honest, Matt. Tatis is not the same player. He's not the same player he was 3-4 years ago. What's going on? I don't know. He's played a great right field for the most part. He's had his gaffes out there like every ball player. But swinging the bat, man, he's just been kind of middle of the road. There are a lot of guys. I mean, Gavin Sheets has got as many home runs as Fernando Tatis. Andy Pages from the Dodgers he got 24 home runs, driven in a lot more runs than I realized Fernando's hitting leadoff. But Fernando he's not the exciting guy that he once was. I'm hoping he gets back to that. I don't know if he's got some issues off the field that are nagging at him or not, but he doesn't play the game with passion like he once did. And I think most people that have watched him from day one would agree with me on that. He's not the same guy. But you know what? Tatis may not be getting the pitches that he would get because of Rise, but you know what? I would imagine Manny's probably getting pretty good pitches. Manny doesn't look good at the plate at all. Manny doesn't look good to play at all, especially in the month of August. In fact, I'll share some numbers with you here. Machado hitting 234 for the month of August with a 301 on base percentage, a 620 OPS. He's got 1 homer and 7 RBIs. Fernando's hitting 233, 373 on base percentage, 728 OPS in August. Arise 235, 259 on base percentage, terrible. 583 OPS. Bogarts 241, 290 on base percentage, 700 OPS. Those are supposed to be the leaders of your ball club. They've all stunk. They've all stunk in the month of August. The guys that are carrying this ball club right now are Cronenworth, Laureano, O'Hearn, Gavin Sheets, and Freddie Fermin. Freddie Fermin, 19 games in the month of August, hitting 279, 361 on base percentage. OPS isn't great because he's not a big power hitter, but 684. But let's face it, he's done a hell of a job behind the plate. Gavin Sheets, 333 for the month, 400 on base percentage, 1150 OPS. And how about Ramon Laureano, 330, 379, 1004 OPS. Cronenworth's got an 811 OPS and a 417 on base percentage. You got guys in the bottom part of the order that are getting it done better than the high price guys at the top of the order. Got to get the big boys going, man. Tatis and Machado, Bogarts, Orion. Those guys got to start swinging the bat and getting on base. Let's go. Trying to win a division title here, boys. Got to pick it up a little bit. Matt, thank you very much. I appreciate that. What else we got here? Keep them rolling. O2RR, hello, coach. With the way Laureano has been hitting, is there any way he could move up to the 5th and drop Bogarts to 7th? No, I don't think so. I think they like him down there. Bogarts, argue or not, Bogarts is actually having a pretty decent year. His average has dipped a little bit, but Bogarts is fine. He's not having a good month, just like Manny and Tatis and Arise. But I wouldn't mind seeing Bogarts actually hit higher. If you're going to drop Arise down, and I know Schilt doesn't want to have 3 right-hand hitters in a row, but hey, you got to do whatever you can do. And I'll tell you the other thing about Schilt. Schilt's got to develop a little more tougher skin. I mean, when writers ask him about certain things, he gets all bent out of shape. Can you imagine if this team was 10 games under 500? He'd be yelling at everybody. He's got to tighten up. He'd have a hard time managing in New York or even LA, I think. He's a little bit thin-skinned. All right. I think Laureano's going to stay pretty much. He may move up to 6th, or 5th. I could see him hitting 5th. I really could. He's having a fantastic year. Fantastic year. He was having a great year before he ever got here. Now he's just taking it, I think, to a different level. All right. What else we got here? Matt, agreed 100% with everything on Fernando. This team goes as far as Tatis and Manny will carry us this season. These guys got to get it done. You know what? I watch the Dodgers, I watch the Dodgers as much as I do the Padres because of Ohtani and Betts and Freeman. And I'll tell you what, Mookie Betts had a rough year, but I'll tell you what, he's had a damn good month of August. I mean, these guys are smelling the finish line. Freddie Freeman seemed like he was stuck on 10 home runs forever. Now he's got 18. And we saw what he did on Sunday. I mean, the Dodgers are able to raise their level of play when they have to. And now they're starting to get guys back. And they got Kike Hernandez back last night. He had a couple of hits, a sac fly, playing third base. They DFA'd Buddy Kennedy, who had one more hit in a Dodger uniform than you and I did. Tommy Edman is making great progress. Talking to people, I think he's probably going to go out on a rehab assignment. They're hoping to get him back maybe a week from Saturday, which would be September 6th. Blake Trinan looks a lot better. Tanner Scott looks a lot better. They've got more guys. Brock Stewart's working his way back. Michael Kopech, Hyson Kim. They've been working with him a little bit on left field. I mean, they got all kinds of guys. They got like a total of 8 guys that'll be back over about a 3-week period. And it's like 8 guys on their roster are going to go bye-bye, and they're going to bring in 8 more. And oh, by the way, on Monday of this week, every ball club will be able to add 2 players. They can add 2 players, 1 pitcher and 1 position player. So you can have a total of 28 players, 14 pitchers, 14 position players. So there you have it. But yeah, Tatis, and man, they got to pick it up a little bit. It's go time, boys. It's go time. And remember, after today, up in Seattle, Padres travel, off day tomorrow, and then they play the Minnesota Twins at Target Field Friday, Saturday, Sunday before they come back home. All right, Matty, thank you very much, and I appreciate you agreeing with me. I think anybody that's watched Fernando for any length of time, he's not the same player. And maybe he'll never be what he once was when he hit 42 home runs in a season. Maybe that's going to be a career high. I don't know about you. I was kind of expecting a little bit more. Not that he's going to hit 40 homers every year, but man, he's got 18, and it took him over a month to hit his 18th. He was stuck on 17 forever. But, Matt, thank you very much. Very much appreciate that. Shep, what do we do with Cease? He's as frustrating as any Padre I can remember. Yeah, he is. For a guy of that ability, I don't know, Ruben Niebla haven't been able to get through to him. And I don't know if they don't mix or match. And I watched Cease walk off the mound last night, shaking his head. Well, Mike Schill normally pulls pitchers pretty early. And he actually gave Dylan Cease a little rope last night. But that was probably a night he should have pulled him early. But, man, he'll go along and be mowing guys down, and all of a sudden he loses it. The other thing that I like Cease. I don't want people to think I don't. I like him a lot. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a very talented guy. But I'm not really into his facial expressions and body language on the mound. When he's not pitching well, kind of got that defeated body language. I'm a big body language guy. Don't hang your head, man. Get back up there, stay intense, stay focused, stay with the task. And last night, man, it was like anti-aircraft. They started hitting him, and then met that home run by Rosarena. Oh my God! And I said to myself, "Here we go again." The next thing you know, a few batters later, Eugenio Suarez drives one out of the ballpark for RBIs, number 99, 100, and 101. Unbelievable. But hey, you got to keep throwing them out there. Got to keep throwing them out there and see what happens. Nestor Cortez, last time out, pitched great. Darvish has been pitching really well. It'll be very interesting today to see what happens. And again, today you got Darvish coming off a couple of great starts, going against a guy that's got an under 3 ERA, and Bryan won 11 games this year. He's a good pitcher. Very good pitcher. So we'll see what gives today. All right, Michael King update. Jackson Merrill update. We were hoping that Michael King, after a really good performance on Sunday, he threw to 3 hitters on Sunday. And those hitters will remain anonymous. I know who they are because I know 2 of the 3 guys pretty well. But anyways, he threw to 3 hitters on Sunday and threw very well. I talked to one of the hitters and said King's really tough to pick up the ball because he throws across his body. And they had an umpire and all that. It was at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning down at Petco Park. And Michael felt really good. We kind of thought that he was scheduled to throw on Friday night. They'd bring him off the IL. It looks like they're going to have him throw one more simulated game in Minnesota at Target Field over the weekend. I would imagine it'll probably be on Friday. So if everything goes well, we'll probably see him early in the series next week when the ball club gets back home. So that's the update on him. Now, as far as Jackson Merrill, and I would think that, it's going to be interesting. They could wait until Monday and they could activate him. That way they don't have to send down Bryce Johnson. But Jackson Merrill went through baseball activity yesterday, which was Tuesday. And he did a little running. And again, he's got that left ankle sprain along with a bone bruise. And bone bruises take a while. I just had one on my right foot. I got it when I was at a beach volleyball tournament up in Hermosa Beach, but that's a whole other story. Feeling much better. I walked 2.5 miles yesterday. But Jackson Merrill could come off as early as Friday, but we'll have to wait and see. They may wait and let him get ramped up a little bit and then get him when they come home. Because again, I mean, who are you going to take out of the lineup? You got some guys right now that are really playing great baseball and inspired baseball, and it kind of changes the dynamic of everything. And that means Gavin Sheets will probably be the odd man out again. So we'll see how that goes. But that's the update on Michael King and Jackson Merrill. All right. Do we have any other live questions we want to get to before we get to Coach's mailbag? If not, we'll get to Coach's mailbag. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, SD front. After the Dodger series, taking two, I felt good until the Seattlle series. Do they get worn out after a series like that? I would think so. But you know what? They get the off day tomorrow, and they're going against the Minnesota Twins team. And I haven't looked at the pitching matchups, but I think the Padres will be okay. But we'll do that on Friday. So we're also going to have John Maffey on to talk a little high school football. I went to a high school football game. My Falcons beat La Jolla last week, 43-19. I got to tell you, if you like high school football, get out to a high school game. But the wide receiver at La Jolla, Carson Deal, he's a senior, about 6'2", 185, going to San Diego State. Man, he had 11 catches for like 161 yards and a 69-yard touchdown catch. He's a really talented guy. He also starts at safety on defense. But a good football game. But we'll have John Maffey on to kind of preview this week in high school football. He'll be on right around 9:30. But, I wanted to mention, because I was all geared up and we had the technical difficulties on Monday and we couldn't do the show. We still don't know why, but hey, we're here today and that's all that really matters. Moving forward, not going backwards. I was all fired up for Monday like I've been today. I mean, we're in the pennant race, man. You got to be fired up. But, that game on Sunday, I didn't expect to sweep the Dodgers, but after getting those first two fantastic games, I figured, man, if you can beat the Dodgers, this is it, man. We could be up by 2 games. And then after what they did, I mean, they came out and, Freddie Freeman tied it up with the home run, and then Dalton Rushing hit the home run, and then Ohtani finally got a hit against the Padres in the series, hitting his 45th home run. And I was happy, but we left a golden opportunity at the doorstep. Could have been up by 2 games over the Dodgers. Instead, we went back into a first-place tie, and now a game back, and it's going to be a dogfight. Now, you got to remember the Dodgers, they went 9-4 against the Padres this year, so they have the tiebreaker. So technically, they're 2 games or a half a game, whatever you want to say. If we tie with them for the division, they win the division. They go as the number 1 seed out of the West. So, right now, who else is going to get in the wild card? I don't know. I don't know about the Mets. I'm not a big Mets fan. You see Soto's hitting about 250. She's got a bunch of home runs, driving in runs, but hitting like 250. He's underachieved, I would say. But SD front taking 2 was great. But, man, it was hard Sunday night to bite into my dinner, not feeling like we left something on the doorstep. Wouldn't it have been great Monday morning to wake up and knowing your ball club was 2 games up in the division rather than tied again? Whew. Well, and it's not to be. Now we got to play some good baseball, man. We got to win more games. The next 29 games, we got to win a couple of more than the Dodgers do. So SD front, thank you very much. Okay, SDSU fandom, what are your expectations for the 2025 Aztec football team? Well, they were picked to finish 8th in the conference. I would hope that they would finish a lot higher than 8th. How high? I don't know. I'd like to be in the top 4. But I'd like to go to a bowl game. And I really don't care what it is. I'd like to go to a bowl game. Aztecs went to a bowl game for 13 years? The last 2 years they've missed it. I want to go to a bowl game. So that's what I want to see them get to a bowl game. Does that mean 6-6, 7-5? I don't know. You need 6 wins to qualify for a bowl. Let's get at least 6 wins. You win 6 games this year. Now we're starting to make some progress. But if you win 4 or 5 games, you finish 5-7, that you got to break down the schedule. Did you really make progress? You can't win 3 games again. I mean, you win 3 or 4 games, then people are going to be knocking on the door at J.D. Wicker saying, hey, what's going on here? Your football coach you brought in, you got to get this guy rolling. And I expect Sean Lewis to have a better football team. I think they're more galvanized. I think they're on Page a little bit more. I mean, he brought in a whole new system. And, he went with a young freshman quarterback. He's going with a kid in Denegal, the quarterback who got a little time at Michigan. He wasn't the starter at Michigan, but he got a little time at Michigan. And he's been to a big time football program. So, and I think the defense will be better. Defensive line last year was not good. They'd lost a lot of guys. That was not good. I think that's going to be better. Offensive line should be better. Running backs, you're going to have more of a running back committee with Lucky Sutton, Christian Washington, Byron Cardwell, all three guys from San Diego. Napier, they were able to keep Napier, the wide receiver, very talented guy last year. So, bowl game for me, and try to finish in the top four in your final year in the Mountain West Conference. That's what I would hope. And then that's real progress. I don't want to finish seventh and go to a bowl game and be 500. I'd like to be better than 6-6. Go 7-5, and I'd be happy. That's showing real progress. Okay, what else we got here? Nice to see some Aztec fans. Hope I see some of you Aztec fans tomorrow night when Jonathan Oliveri and myself are going to be out there. Yeah, we're going to be out there tomorrow night. We're all fired up. We got our press credential. Now we need our parking pass. And oh, by the way, check out Kirk Kenney's article in the Union Tribune today. It gives you everything you need to know if you're going to the game, where to park, about the trolley and this and that and 38 other things. So I'll be reporting in on Friday. We'll talk about the Aztecs, all that good stuff, and hope they have a nice crowd on a Thursday night. Again, the kickoff for the game against Stony Brook tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. I'd like to thank the general manager of San Diego State, Caleb Davis, joining us, giving us a great outlook on Aztec football and a little bit about his background. Got a marvelous background. This kid's going places, folks. He's only 26 years of age and really has done a lot in a short period of time since he got out of the University of Cincinnati. A reminder, please subscribe, please like, please turn on notifications. And again, we're on Facebook, X, and of course our channel is YouTube. And again, you can follow me on Facebook at John Kentera and on X at Coach Kentera 44. Until Friday morning at 9 a.m., I bid you adieu. We'll talk to you again. Have a great day, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the John Kentera Show, San Diego Sports Talk. Bye-bye.